Today we're drawing the American flag displayed on the second story of a cute little house. Because Memorial Day is at the end of this month and July 4th isn't too far off, I thought drawing the flag would be a perfect opportunity to help us remember and recognize those who have dedicated their lives to fight for our freedom here in the United States. So when you see someone who has served or who is currently serving in our military, remember to say a big thank you. We need a few supplies for our flag and cottage drawing today. I've got white paper here, a pencil with a clean eraser, and then a black ultra-fine tipped marker. And then I have color pencils over here for the end when we want to bring color into our flag and into our house. So to help you understand today's house drawing, I want you to look at a beautiful picture of a house. So when we look at this house here, we see things in the foreground, that means the front. We also see things in the background, that means the back. And then the things or space that's in between the front and the back, or the foreground and the background, is what we call the midground. So looking at this photo of the house, what do you think is in the foreground? If you said the flowers and the bushes or even these flower pots, you'd be right. Those are the items that are closest to us. Those are the items that we can see their full front shape. And now looking at the photo again, if you look at the background, what do you see in the background? If you said the trees and the sky, that's right. And then in the midground, we have what is the house. So to draw our landscape of the house today, to draw our first story and our second story, we're actually going to use both a marker and a pencil. I normally don't like to use pencil with kids because I don't like you to erase your drawings. I always say there's no mistakes in art, and I like you to use permanent media so we can just keep working through. But in this case, we're going to use a pencil to draw some of the house outline, especially on the first story, so that you can get an idea of how it's laid out before we go in and we draw the foreground of the flowers and the bushes. And I'll explain all that as we go further into the drawing. But for now, I want you to get your marker and get your pencil ready, and then turn your paper horizontal like I have here. We're going to start with the roof line on the first story, and then we're going to draw everything on the bottom level, including the landscape, and then we're going to go back up to the second story and work on the American flag. So to begin the house, I want you to find the middle of your paper and take your marker, and we're going to draw a straight line coming in just a little bit all the way across to the other side, leaving just a little bit of space. This is going to be the roof line of our first story. Once you have that line, come underneath just a bit and draw another straight line going all the way across, same length as your first one. And then we're going to draw a vertical line on both sides to connect those lines. And now we're going to switch to your pencil. Now when we draw with a pencil, I want you to draw very lightly because we're going to end up going over your pencil lines with your marker and then erasing those pencil lines. So draw just so that you can see. We don't want to press too heavy. So let's draw a line beginning where you left off with your marker on the side toward the bottom of your page, leaving a little bit of space, and then do the same thing on the other sides. Start with your marker line, draw a straight line coming down a little bit, and then we're gonna now draw a straight line all the way across, connecting those two pencil lines. Now right under that pencil line, we're gonna draw another line, come down just a little bit, and this time start out farther than your house and go all the way across and stop just outside the house. So this line is longer than our box up here. And now we're going to connect them. So connect your line with a diagonal line to the corner of your house. Same thing on the other side, a diagonal line to the corner of your house. And now below that, we're going to draw another straight line going all the way across the paper. And then where you left off up here on the corner, we're going to draw a straight line down and another straight line down. So here you can kind of begin to see, we've got the first story right here, and we'll draw some details in there. And we've got what's the porch down below with the first step. So let's draw our door, and then we can continue with the stairs. So find about the middle of this blank space in here, and we're gonna draw a vertical line coming up, come almost up toward the top of your marker line, and then over a bit and down again. We're going to make this door a little bit wide because we're going to turn it into a double door with a vertical line straight down the middle. And so now we can kind of see where our door is. So we can come below this bottom line and begin to draw our stairs. So following this imaginary line where your door begins, come below your bottom line and draw a straight line across and stop on the other side of your door. So you're kind of following this imaginary line. And then right below that small line that you just drew, come out a little bit farther, but almost just underneath it, and draw a straight line going across, coming out just a little bit farther. And then we're going to connect these two lines with a diagonal. So right at the ends, draw a diagonal line to connect them. And then right up at the top of the first line, we're going to draw a vertical line coming up to this long line. And now on these bottom points, we're going to draw a straight line coming down. And at this point, you may begin to run off your paper. That's completely fine. Just take your line and go right off your paper. If you've still got even just a little bit of room like I do, keep going. So right where you left off with these bottom lines, we're going to draw a straight line going across, but come out just a little bit farther and end just a little bit farther off the other side. And then again, right below that line, coming out just a little bit farther, draw another straight line going across and coming out a little bit farther at that end. And then we're going to connect those two points with a diagonal line. So connect each side. And then if you can still see some of the bottom of your paper, right on those two very far end points, draw a vertical line coming down just a bit. And if you ran out of space like I did, just take your line, go right off the paper. But if you still have some space, continue with your stairs. Keep drawing those small and then a little bit longer lines and then those vertical lines coming down until you get to a point where you think, good, I've got enough stairs to climb into my house. So there's the stairs, there's the door, and we'll come back in here with the marker. But right now we're gonna move on to the landscaping. So we've got some bushes that we're gonna put in. So below your porch area, right in your blank space on either side of your stairs, we're gonna draw some curvy lines. So let's start on the outside toward the edge of your paper. Just pick a spot in the open area and draw a curved line coming up. And it is okay if your curved line goes over any of these horizontal lines representing your porch. And then we're going to bring that curved line back down, and your curved line can even begin to wave a little bit. So maybe you've got two curved lines together, one going in and then back out again. And then starting at this bottom point, come up again into a curved line, and you can go in a different direction and then draw another curved line coming down again. And then let's do it again. If you've got space over on this side, just keep going with these curved lines coming out, and you can take it right off the page if you run out of space, and then just keep going kind of all the way around this one point. So you're kind of going in like this half circle with these leaves. And then once you get a good set of leaves, then come into the background behind this one leaf. So pick a point on the leaf, bring your pencil up around kind of this wavy line, and then come back down, meeting the leaf next to it. So this leaf is kind of covered a little bit by these two other leaves. So do that a couple times around your other leaves just to give it a little bit more fullness. And the point is, this is your front, you're in the front part of your picture. This is in the foreground. So we're going to end up erasing all of these lines that go right through. So keep going right through there. Once you're satisfied with that area, then come over to the next area, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Pick a point, draw a curved line coming up, a curved line coming down, and then keep going with it. Keep doing these curved lines. You can even run into your plant next to it. They kind of overlap. You can even extend it off the page toward the bottom. Just keep going with these curved lines. You can even go over your stairs. Maybe the leaf runs into the stairs. And then once you get around there, then go behind there. Pick a spot on the side of your leaf, take a curved line up, and back down until you run into another leaf. And pick another area, start on one leaf and come back down. So we're just kind of going over and around our leaf. So what we've got with these bushes over here, we're gonna do the same thing. Let's make some plants or bushes on this side. So let's start at the edge like we did, pick a point, come up with a curved line and come back down with another curved line. And your leaves can vary, thin or thick, and keep going with this full one and then make another one next to it, just like we did on this side. All right, now that we've got some pencil lines in and we can begin to see where this is flowing, we're gonna go back in with our marker. We are going to first draw a potted plant, then we're gonna go over these pencil lines. So pick an area on your stairs, so choose one step, and at the base of that step, draw a curved line, small curved line on there. Looks like a little smiley face. And where you left off, then draw a straight line kind of going out on a diagonal, and on the other side, a straight line kind of going out on the diagonal. Then at the top, we're going to make another slightly curved line connecting those two top. And in here, we're going to draw some flowers. So similar to how we did these bushes, we're just going to start with some curved lines, these loopy lines, some flowers growing out of this pot. So you can make some tall, you can go behind some, and just keep making loopy lines all the way around your pot. You can even dip them below like they're hanging over the pot. Maybe some small ones, maybe some larger ones. And then once you're satisfied with that, if you've got any space that you can see behind your flowers, we want to connect that back part of the pot. So right off the edge, you're going to draw what's going to be a curved line. But if you run into a flower petal, pick up your marker, jump over the flower petals until you reach an open space, then continue with your line, jump over any other flower petals until you reach the other side. So that is the beginning of the landscaping in the first story. At this point, we're gonna go over all of these pencil lines, then add in a little bit of character. So take your marker, go over all of the bushes. Once they begin to overlap, just pick up your marker, jump over a leaf, and keep going. On this side, your pot is going to be in front. So any landscaping that runs into your pot, just pick up your marker as you're drawing a leaf, skip over the pot, and then keep going. We can begin to outline the other pencil lines of the house in black marker. Now this part can be a little tricky because we're trying to figure out which pencil lines to go over and what leaves to skip over. So just do your best. Follow the pencil lines until you reach a bush or any greenery or any flower pots, and then pick up your marker again, go over that shape, and keep going on with your marker. So once you finish covering all the pencil lines, then we're going to add in more detail. So you can see how I'm drawing these lines. I've got all these leaves that are running into my horizontal line. Every time I reach a leaf, I pick up my marker and then keep going. All right, once you finish covering all the pencil lines, let's add in more detail with the marker, and then we'll go back in and we'll erase those pencil lines later. So beginning with the door, we've got the frame of it, but let's put some trim around it. So right around the outside of your door, come close to that line, and then mimic that door line with another one right around it. That's going to be the trim of our door. Then we'll go inside the door and let's make some windows. I like a lot of natural light, so let's make these windows long and coming up right against your line. So we're just drawing a very long rectangle on both sides of the door. And then once you've got those rectangles in, we need to get in our door, so we need a door handle. So right under the window, I'm going to draw another small, long rectangle on both sides to represent the handles. And now we're going to put in some pillars to give us a guide before we put in our windows. So give a little space between the door trim and then draw a vertical line coming down all the way to that first bottom line, and then pretty close to it, do the same thing again, another vertical line. And if you're running into a leaf, remember, just come to the leaf edge, pick up your marker, and keep going. And then right over on the far edge, let's draw another straight line to represent a pillar. And let's do the same thing over on this side. So looking at the edge of your door, give a little bit of space, and then draw a vertical line coming down, then another vertical line, and then over at the edge of your paper, let's draw a vertical line again. And now inside this space between the door and the pillar, let's draw some lights. So we're going to start kind of near the top of the door, and we're going to put in a small little square on both sides. And then below that square, starting on one side, draw a curved line coming down and out. And then on the other point of a square, another curved line coming down and out. And then let's connect those curved lines with a straight line across. And then same thing on the other side. At the bottom of your square, draw a curved line coming down and out. And then another curved line coming down and out. And connect those 2 points with a straight line going across. And then we've got some space for our windows. So in between the two pillars on both sides, we're gonna put in two windows, two long, thin windows. So let's start toward the top, leaving a little bit of space from this top line, and draw a vertical line coming pretty much almost down toward your bottom line, leaving a little bit of space. And then let's make another long, thin window. And then let's put some trim. So let's go on the inside of that long rectangle, mimic the shape, and come down and over to make another rectangle inside, and do the same thing on the other window. Come inside the window and make a rectangle. And then let's add some detail in there. So let's make a vertical line down the center of both of those windows. And then to put in some panes, let's put two horizontal lines just in that center rectangle. Now, just like we have those two windows, we're going to put the same things over here. Now, if your area has more space and maybe you want to put on some shutters or put in a window box with flowers, go for it. This is your unique drawing. But if you're out of space like I am, let's go over to the left side, and we're going to do our windows exactly the same thing. So two long rectangles, and then two rectangles inside with some extra lines. One more thing on the first story. Let's put in some extra detail on our pillars. So beginning with this outside pillar, it kind of looks like a rectangle here. Beginning towards the top, let's just put in two horizontal lines. And then at the bottom of that pillar, let's put in 4 horizontal lines. Just give it some extra character. And then we're gonna do the exact same thing on the rest of the 3 pillars. So 2 horizontal lines toward the top, and then 4 horizontal lines toward the bottom. All right, so we've got the bottom of our house. Now let's move on to the second story along with the flag. So look where your door is, and then right above your door, we're gonna do the pointy part of a triangle. So leave a little space between the roof line, come up kind of where the pillar is or where the door is, and then we're gonna just draw the top of a triangle, come into a point near the top of your paper, and then back down again. Kind of looks like a mountain that's hanging out above your first story. Now, once you've got that triangle in, we're gonna draw some vertical lines to connect those to the house. So at the bottom of your points, draw a vertical line connecting it to that top roof line. And then inside this shape here, we're gonna come down just a little bit from the tip of our triangle, and we're gonna draw a straight line diagonally following our triangle all the way until we reach that vertical line. And then up at the top, we're gonna add in a little bit of character. So right at this second point in here, we're gonna draw a short vertical line and another one, same size. And then we're gonna draw a horizontal line out to both sides. And then a straight line beneath that going from one side of the triangle to the other. Now this blank area right here, this is where our flag is gonna be. We're gonna hold off on drawing that. We're gonna finish the rest of the second story, and then lastly, we'll come back in and draw that part in. So right on both sides of this triangle, we're gonna put a straight line. So come down just a little bit from your top point and draw a little bit of a horizontal line. You don't wanna come out too far, just a little bit. And then about the same width on the other side, or same length on the other side, draw another horizontal line. And then where you left off on that horizontal line, you're gonna draw a diagonal line coming down. And then on the other side, another diagonal line coming down. You kind of just wanna leave those lines hanging out for a second. And now we're gonna bring them back in. So now you're gonna draw another horizontal line on both sides coming in toward your triangle. And then to connect that to the bottom, follow that bottom horizontal line on the roof and then draw a vertical line until it reaches your first story. So come in just a little bit and draw a vertical line until it hits your first story. And then right under this line that's on both sides of your triangle, come under that and draw a horizontal line on both sides to the end. And then up here on this roof, we're gonna kind of make it look like a tin roof. So we're gonna follow this diagonal line all the way until we get to the triangle part. So just keep making those lines, try to give it some equal spaces all the way across. And then same thing on the other side. Follow your diagonal line and keep drawing until you get towards the triangle. And then right up at the top, we're gonna extend that side line just a little bit, and then we're gonna draw a horizontal line coming in to almost the top point of your triangle. Just a little extra character there. And then where you have this blank space going across on both sides of your triangle, we're gonna put in some vertical lines. So we're gonna make 2 vertical lines, give some space, 2 more vertical lines, space, and then 2 more vertical lines. And let's continue that over on the other side. So 2 vertical lines close together, give it some space, then 2 more lines, and keep going all the way across until you hit the end. And then we're gonna do that same kind of look at this space right here. So we're gonna go 2 lines close together, space, 2 lines close together, space, and keep going all the way across.
And now with this open space right here, we're gonna make it look like siding. So we're gonna just make these horizontal lines in this space, and your lines can be close together or they can be really far apart. But on both sides in that blank space, just make horizontal lines from the top to the bottom. And then lastly, this roof part, we're gonna extend it just a little bit on both sides. So if you've got the space, take 2 horizontal lines coming out just a little bit. And then on the bottom line, we're gonna draw a diagonal line back towards the pillar. So it looks like this line extends, and then just connect those 2 pieces. And you can add in any more of those double vertical lines if you'd like. Okay, so that's the drawing of our house. And now we've got the most important part, the flag. So up at the top, we're gonna make a pole. So right under this decorative piece right here, we're gonna draw a circle over towards the side. And then over on the other side, draw another circle. And then let's connect those 2 circles with a horizontal line. And then another one. And then right on the inside of that circle, we're gonna begin our rectangle for the flag. So we're gonna draw a vertical line coming down, leaving just a little bit of space above the roof line. And then same thing on the other side. On the inside of that circle, draw a vertical line coming down. And because this flag is hanging, your line at the bottom can be straight, or in this case, I'm gonna actually make mine a little bit curvy. And then when we color, then I'm gonna show you how to go back in and add in our stars and our stripes. But I'm not gonna put in all the lines for our flag with the black marker. I don't want it too heavy and black. I really want the red, white, and blue to show off. So at this point, I'm gonna close up my marker, and then we're gonna begin to add in the color. But before we do that, we need to erase some of those lines. So you see pencil lines usually toward the bottom or on the first story. Go ahead and take a clean eraser and then just gently take away all of those lines. Now as you're erasing, you might notice that you missed a part adding a marker line. It's no big deal. When you finish creating, just go back and add in that marker line or 2. And if you're erasing and then you notice that you accidentally went through a piece of an area with a marker that shouldn't have a line, don't worry about it. I always say there's no mistakes in art. So learn from this, color it in, make something new out of that line. But remember, there's no mistakes in art. Now you can use the same colors as I am, or you can vary your colors and create the look that you want. I'm going to speed up the video as I color, and then I'll show you how to color the flag at the end. So if you want to color, go ahead and start, but save the flag till the end, and then I'll teach you how to do that. But one piece of advice, if you do color, is to vary the color between the horizon line. So the horizon line is what separates the sky from the ground, and we didn't draw that line in here, but if you're coloring grass or mulch or anything down on your ground, even mud, and then you color your sky, those 2 colors should be a little bit different. So with your color, you'd be able to recognize the background versus the foreground. But if you're not going to color your picture, if you're only going to color the flag, I highly recommend taking your marker and just drawing in a line, a horizontal line on both sides of your house, just to represent where the sky begins and where the ground starts. So let's go ahead and add some color to this piece. And now it's time for the flag. The United States flag is red, white, and blue. We've got 50 stars that represent each state, and then we've got 13 stripes that represent the 13 colonies. So 7 of those stripes are red, and 6 of them are white. They start with red and they end with red. So to begin with the flag, we're going to start with the blue. So up in this top upper left corner, we are going to draw a shape for our stars. So outline that shape in blue. And then for our stars, because everything's so tiny, we're just going to actually put in a bunch of circles. So using your blue colored pencil, just draw in quite a few circles and make them large enough so you can see the white through, but not so big that you can only fit in a couple. Once you've filled your shape with circles, then go ahead and use your blue crayon and color in all around those circles, leaving just a little bit of white. And it's okay if you didn't get exactly 50 in there. There, once you've got your shape colored in with blue, you can hardly even tell that you've got some circles in there. From a far off distance, you can see those tiny white specks. So now we're on to the stripes. So grab your red pencil, and beginning at this inside corner of your blue, I want you to draw a straight line coming all the way down to the bottom of your flag. Now inside this shape here, we're going to draw 6 lines. So they're going to be fairly close together because our flag is kind of small. So we're going to count 6 lines as we go down. So try to get them fairly straight, but if your flag is wavy, you can go a little wavy. So you want 6 lines inside the shape. On this part over here, we are going to draw 5 lines from the top to the bottom. So now you've got a bunch of stripes on your flag and you can begin to color. So starting at one end, start with red. It doesn't matter which way you start because they both start with red. So color in that full shape of red and then skip a space, leaving that white, and color in the next one red, and continue until you get to the other side of your flag. So that's it. There's our flag and there is our cottage. So we've got an adorable looking house with our American flag hanging from the top. So awesome work today. Be sure to pick a spot on your paper and sign your name. Usually I like to do it in a dark color, but initial that work since you spent so much time on there. So I hope you enjoyed this drawing. I hope you learned a little bit about foreground and background, but most importantly, I hope it inspired you to thank those who served in our armed forces. So until next time, keep creating.